Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka Deffinition, and this video we're going to be breaking down our big fan theories on both Black Noir and Stormfront. The pair are probably the most mysterious characters in the comic book caper, and throughout this video we're going to be discussing who we think they really are and how it ties in with the source material. There's going to be heavy spoilers here for the first 5 episodes of Season 2, so if you aren't caught up, then you better make like that Supe Terrorist from the first episode and head off. Hey, great videos here. Now with that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Let's get into our fan theories. Okay, so firstly, I want to talk about Black Noir and who I think he really is. There's been a lot of speculation over his identity since the start, and I myself have gone back and forth over whether the series would follow the comics or not. In the original work, it was revealed that Black Noir was actually a clone of Homelander that was put in place by Vought to take the character down in case he ever ended up going rogue. That was a big twist in the comics, and the show has even teased it coming true with the characters standing in the same pose for a lot of the marketing material. However, the twist is so well known at this point that I think it's just gonna get spoiled by someone, preferably myself, the spoiler man. Cha-cha. So what can the show do to keep things in line with the comics, but also leave enough there to surprise people? Well, personally, I think that the latest entry might have just given us a big clue about who it could actually be. Now, I did originally think that Noir might be a clone of Billy Butcher. In the comics and show, we learn that the character worked with the CIA in the past, and this involved him being selected for missions in which he would spy on the Supes and even take them down at certain points. I initially thought that Vought could have become aware of this and then cloned the character so that if it came down to it, they could use the hate which was already instilled in him to take down Homelander. Billy would also be blindsided by this reveal, and for Vought it would be a win-win situation in which they could take down Homelander if needs be, but also shock the boys enough to the point that Noir would get an opening to take them out if ever it came down to it. However, I think the 5th episode might have already teased who the character could be, and that is Lenny, aka Billy's brother. Now in the show we find out very little about him, and in the comics it's about the same. Bar a couple of lines of text, there's little that we learn about him, and I think that the show has planted the idea that he and Huey are very similar for a specific reason. We learn that Lenny died, and because of this Huey has become somewhat of a surrogate brother to Billy, who took him under his wing and views him as a canary. I'm here all week. But what if Lenny didn't actually die, and instead Vought took him captive and gave him Compound V, turning him into the mindless killer that's Black Noir. Now in the comics and show, as demonstrated by the latest episode, Noir is pretty much a drone that's used by Edgar to do his dirty work. Whether this is him covering up the Compound V getting out in Syria or tracking down Butcher, the villain is relentless in all that he does. However, there's one key scene in which we actually see some of his personality come out. Early on in the season, there's a brief moment in which we catch Black Noir crying. This seems like it's because of Compound B getting out, but what if it goes beyond that? The newscaster can be heard talking about the treatment of people by Vought and how this causes several issues. What if this is actually the character's true personality breaking through for a brief second? If Lenny had have been taken in by the corporation and then brainwashed, there is still a possibility that he could have had a small breakthrough during this moment before he was once more ordered to become Edgar's attack dog. We know from the brief flash of Lamplighter in episode 5 that there is a facility in which the rogue Supes are housed, and what if at this location Lenny was brainwashed and transformed into Noir? Now why this would be interesting on a meta level is because Jack Quaid could actually play the character, as we know that Lenny and Huey are meant to resemble one another. When they finally unmask Noir, not only would it completely catch Billy off guard, but it would also probably startle Huey too, and I think this double twist would be a brilliant way to keep things in line with the source material, whilst also giving both characters that, you know, that one moment. I can't say because of YouTube. Now, they give a lot of focus to Huey, Lenny and Billy in the last episode, and to bring Noir into it too, I think in retrospect would make the family reunion at Aunt Judy's home get a lot more gravitas to it. Again, this is just a theory, but I think if it came true, it would be a really cool reveal. Now as for Stormfront, this isn't so much a theory as it's becoming more and more obvious that she's going to be a close adaptation of her counterpart in the comic books. Originally when Aya Cash first came onto the scene, I thought that her Stormfront was going to be a big departure from the source material. However, by episode 3, it was clear that they were actually doing a bait and switch and that she is in fact the character from the comics with a little gender switch to keep the audience guessing. Now in case you don't know, in the source material, Stormfront was actually created during World War II. Vought was a German scientist, and under Hitler's watchful eye he experimented on Jewish people in order to create Compound B. Stormfront's mother was injected with heavy doses of it, and he's probably the person that should be classed as the first superhero. Stormfront has such a legacy, and we learn that in the comics that Homelander was actually cloned from him, which yeah, if they carry this over to the show, is gonna make the laser boob scene even weirder. Now Hitler had the character serving as a super soldier in World War II as part of his youth program. However, Hitler turned on him and ordered that the character be executed. Vought, angered that his greatest creation was going to be sent to the scrap heap, decided to flee the country with the boy, and then he founded the corporation, and the rest is history. I can actually see a similar storyline being carried across to the show, and with Ayakash herself being Jewish, it does tease that something happened with her in the war. We already know from A Time is Liberty that the character does not age, and because of her views, we can guess that she was likely raised to be like this, which further ties into the character's origin story. Stormfront likely keeps little reminders of this, and this could be seen in her lightning earrings. These symbols look similar to the ones used by the SS, or this could be a big reach like the rest of the video. It's too late to take back the time you've wasted now anyway, so yeah, just keep watching. Now but seriously, did anyone buy that story about her mother? I mean seriously. We did see in episode 5 of season 2 that she had a photograph of her. However, if the character was alive in the 70s and still looked in her late 20s to early 30s, then surely something isn't right here. It's the first real clue that we've had about the character's past beyond the Liberty reveal, and there are several ways that we can take this. Either this is her mother and our theory is wrong, in which case she was probably born in the 50s, was injected with Compound V about then too, rose as Liberty, and then was brushed to the side in the 70s after her attack. The second option is that this is just a PR stunt by Vought to make her origin story seem more authentic. They've done this before several times, and initially all of the 7 had complete origin stories, such as being from alien planets or Atlantis before the Compound B truth was revealed. This is the one I'm leaning to at the moment, and it is possible that they hooked her up with a new cover story after Liberty was kicked out of the spotlight. The third option is that this is actually her daughter. Now shoutouts to Cameron Warren on my Last Boys video for dropping this, but it kinda sparked me off into thinking that it's a possibility too. Stormfront would have to be close to the character in order to use her name as a password, and it does seem like she's tied to her in some way. If she's not her mother, as I guessed, then it does make sense that she could be the other end of the spectrum. Who knows, Stormfront might even be Vaught's child herself, and this is why the company was so protective over her. We've seen with the Deep that they don't mind getting rid of someone when they do bad, so the fact that they kept her around means she must be pretty high up. Vought could have experimented on his own daughter in order to perfect the compound, and this would also give him someone that he could control. Anyway, that's all our fan theories for the moment, but obviously I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you not? Or do you have an even better one? Comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, yeah, then make sure you check out our full breakdown of episode 5, which is going to be linked at the end. We go over all the Easter eggs in the entry, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. We're also giving away a free copy of the Christopher Nolan collection, and all you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 30th of September, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. If you want to support the channel and get to see content like this early, then please consider clicking the join button below. You can also come chat to us on our Discord server, linked in the description, or at Heavy Spoilers on Twitter. Thanks for making it until the end of the video. You've been the best, I've been Deffinition, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.